What started as a moment of WNBA unity turned into the most explosive drama the league has seen in years. A single comment from Kelsey Plum at the All-Star game triggered a media firestorm that's still burning hot, with Cowherd delivering one of the most savage takedowns in sports radio history. Then Caitlin Clark stepped in with just 6 words that absolutely demolished Plum on social media. This isn't just basketball beef. This is about respect, jealousy, and the future of women's basketball. Before tip-off, both All-Star teams walked onto the court wearing bold black t-shirts with "Pay us what you owe us" emblazoned across the front. It was a powerful statement, players demanding better salaries and working conditions as the league heads into crucial collective bargaining talks for 2026. Fans erupted with chants of "Pay them" during warm-ups and even during the MVP presentation. The message was clear: these athletes are ready to fight for their worth in a league that's been underfunded compared to its male counterparts for decades. Even the players were surprised by the coordinated effort, learning about the shirts that morning in a players-only meeting. It should have been a moment of pure solidarity, a reminder that despite individual rivalries and team loyalties, the WNBA stars are united in their pursuit of fair compensation. Then Kelsey Plum opened her mouth and changed everything. During the post-game press conference, sitting next to New York Liberty star Sabrina Ionescu, Plum was asked about the t-shirt protest. As vice president of the WNBA Players Association, she was the perfect person to address the demonstration. She started strong, calling it a very powerful moment, and explaining how the shirts came together organically that morning. The room was nodding along, appreciating the insight into this coordinated effort. But then, with a cheeky grin that would haunt her for days, Plum dropped a bombshell that shifted the entire mood. Not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. The record scratch was almost audible. Team Clark, the all-star roster led by Caitlin Clark featuring powerhouses like Sabrina Ionescu, Aya Wilson, and Aaliyah Boston, had apparently skipped the critical players-only meeting where the protest was planned. Ionescu, sitting right there as a Team Clark member, shot Plum a look and muttered that really needed to be mentioned, sparking nervous laughter from reporters. Plum tried to play it off as keeping things light, but the damage was already done. Her comment felt like a direct shot at Clark, the league's biggest draw. During what was supposed to be about unity, social media exploded faster than you could say triple-double, with hashtags like Plum vs Clark trending within hours. Fans picked sides immediately, and the WNBA found itself dealing with internal drama just when everything seemed to be going perfectly. The timing couldn't have been worse. Or better, depending on your perspective on controversy driving engagement. Cowherd was watching, and he was absolutely livid. The Fox Sports radio host has been one of Caitlin Clark's biggest supporters, consistently arguing that her star power is the key to the WNBA's
and of course,
financial
everybody
future. So when he
that.
caught wind of Plum's press conference jab on Monday, July 21st, during his show, The Herd, he went absolutely nuclear in a way that only Cowherd can. His response wasn't just criticism, it was a complete character assassination wrapped in sports commentary. "Why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose?" he began, his voice dripping with disbelief and anger. Then came the line that would be replayed millions of times across social media: "You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water, one of those airlines that the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private." But Cowherd wasn't finished. He delivered what might be the most savage analogy in recent sports media history. If you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself. You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in a shopping district. Stop talking. The brutality was breathtaking. Cowherd essentially painted Clark as the superstar who elevated the entire WNBA from budget accommodations to luxury treatment, and told Plum and other veterans to show some gratitude instead of throwing shade. He capped it off with, "It's time to grow up, girls. This is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow." The clip spread like wildfire, racking up millions of views on social media. Cowherd's official account amplified the moment with that devastating "Motel 6 to Four Seasons" line, and fans absolutely lost their minds. Clark supporters called it a reality check that was long overdue, while others accused Cowherd of being unnecessarily harsh. The comment sections became war zones, with passionate debates about respect, jealousy, and who really deserves credit for the WNBA's recent success. Here's where Caitlin Clark showed why she's not just a basketball phenom but a media master. Instead of escalating the drama or getting into a public feud, Clark waited for the perfect moment to strike back. A couple of days after Cowherd's rant, Kelsey Plum posted a photo on Instagram where she was posed in front of a half-visible Nike logo. This might seem insignificant, except for one crucial detail. Plum is an Under Armour ambassador. The Nike logo appearing in her photo was either a massive oversight or a subtle troll job gone wrong. Clark spotted the opportunity immediately and slid into the comments with 6 words that would become legendary: "Thank you for the Nike ad." The simplicity was devastating. Clark didn't need to write paragraphs or get into a heated exchange. 6 words were enough to expose Plum's mistake, remind everyone of their different endorsement deals, and throw shade so subtle that it felt like a masterclass in social media warfare. Fans went absolutely crazy, calling it the perfect response, playful enough to seem lighthearted but sharp enough to cut deep. It showed that Clark has the savvy to navigate drama without getting lost in it, a skill that served her well as the WNBA's biggest star. The exchange fueled narratives about a budding rivalry, even though sources close to both players insist there's no real personal beef between them. So what's really going on behind the scenes? According to ESPN's Ramona Shelburne and other credible sources, Plum's press conference comment was meant as a joke that simply didn't land. The early 8:30 a.m. meeting time apparently explains Team Clark's absence. Players like Ionescu and Aya Wilson were likely recovering from a late night out, as evidenced by social media posts from other players showing the All-Star festivities. It wasn't that Team Clark was opposed to the "pay us what you owe us" protest. Every player, including Clark herself, wore the shirts during warm-ups. The issue was timing and attendance at a morning meeting that happened after a night of All-Star celebrations. But context doesn't matter when you're dealing with the internet's hunger for drama. Plum's comment, regardless of intent, came off as throwing shade at Clark during a moment that was supposed to highlight league unity. The optics were terrible, calling out the league's biggest star and most valuable marketing asset during a press conference about collective action. Some fans and analysts argue that Plum, as a Players Association vice president who's been fighting for better pay and conditions for years, had legitimate frustration about uneven commitment to the cause. Others see it as petty jealousy from a veteran player who's been overshadowed by Clark's meteoric rise. The backlash against Plum was intense and immediate. Social media users flooded her mentions with accusations of sabotaging her own league and undermining the WNBA's united front at a critical time. Traditional media piled on as well, with outlets running headlines about the WNBA destroying itself with internal drama. Even former NBA players weighed in, questioning why Plum would throw shade at Clark during a moment that was supposed to be about solidarity. Sabrina Ionescu's visible discomfort during the press conference became a meme, with fans interpreting her reaction as proof that Plum's comment was completely out. But Plum has her defenders too. Some fans and analysts argue that her comment was blown completely out of proportion, a classic case of the internet turning a molehill into a mountain. They point out that Plum, as a Players Association leader, has been in the trenches fighting for player rights long before Clark arrived on the scene. The T-shirt protest represented years of collective effort, not just Clark's individual star power, and Plum's frustration might have stemmed from what she perceived as inconsistent commitment to the players' union cause. These supporters argue that the media, including Cowherd, is quick to frame Clark as a victim and veterans as jealous, ignoring the complex dynamics at play in a league that's never been profitable and relies on NBA subsidies to survive. The timing of this controversy couldn't be more significant. The WNBA is at a crossroads, with more mainstream attention than ever before but also facing crucial CBA negotiations that will determine the league's financial future. Players' salaries are notoriously low. Even superstars like Clark and Angel Reese make most of their money from endorsements rather than their WNBA contracts. The "pay us what you owe us" shirts represented a bold move, signaling that players are ready to demand a bigger share of revenue as viewership and attendance soar to record levels. Cowherd acknowledged this reality on his show, saying the players are going to get a raise because the projection for the WNBA going forward and the current momentum are really, really good. However, Cowherd also argued that Clark's presence is the main reason the league has leverage now, which is why he took such issue with Plum's comment. His "golden goose" reference wasn't just colorful language, it reflected a widely held belief that Clark's star power is driving the WNBA's financial transformation. Critics worry that internal drama like the Plum-Clark saga could derail the momentum that Clark helped build, especially if tensions escalate into work stoppages or public feuds that alienate new fans who are tuning in specifically because of Clark's appeal. The fallout from this saga continues to reverberate throughout the WNBA community. For better or worse, the Plum-Clark controversy has kept the league in headlines during what's typically a quieter period. It's brought attention to CBA negotiations and players' fight for fair compensation, but it's also shifted focus away from on-court achievements like Nafisa Collier's MVP performance and the exciting competitive balance that's emerged across the league. Some fans worry that the drama could alienate casual viewers who are just discovering women's basketball through Clark's star power. Others argue that it's a sign of the WNBA's growing pains, a league finally big enough to support its own compelling storylines and personality conflicts. Looking ahead, both Plum and Clark have handled the aftermath professionally. Clark returned to action for the Indiana Fever, continuing to post eye-popping statistics and draw sellout crowds wherever she plays. Her response to the Instagram incident showed she can navigate controversy with both humor and strategic thinking. Plum, meanwhile, has continued leading the Los Angeles Sparks while fulfilling her responsibilities as a Players Association vice president. She's remained active on social media, seemingly unfazed by the criticism and focused on her role in upcoming CBA negotiations that could reshape the league's financial landscape. Colin Cowherd's intervention in this drama reflects broader media dynamics around women's sports coverage. His savage takedown of Plum generated massive engagement and sparked conversations that extended far beyond basketball. Whether his approach helped or hurt the situation depends on your perspective. Supporters argue he defended Clark from unfair criticism, while critics suggest he amplified unnecessary drama and spoke condescendingly about female athletes. Either way, his Motel 6-4 seasons line became an instant classic that perfectly captured the stakes of this controversy. The CBA negotiations looming for 2026 will ultimately determine whether this drama was a minor speed bump or a sign of deeper tensions within the WNBA community. Players like Plum, who've been advocating for better conditions for years, will play crucial roles in determining the league's financial future. Clark's star power gives the Players Association more leverage than ever before, but it also creates pressure to maintain the momentum that's driven recent growth. The challenge will be balancing individual recognition with collective goals, ensuring that rising stars and veteran contributors both feel valued in a league that's finally receiving the attention it deserves. The ultimate question is whether drama like this helps or hurts the WNBA's continued growth. Basketball purists might prefer that attention focus on athletic achievement and competitive excellence. Marketing experts might argue that personality-driven storylines are exactly what's needed to sustain mainstream interest beyond Clark's individual appeal. The truth is probably that the league needs both, compelling on-court action and engaging off-court narratives that keep fans invested year-round. As this saga continues to unfold, one thing is clear: the WNBA has arrived as a major entertainment property capable of generating the kind of passionate fan engagement that drives successful sports leagues. Whether Kelsey Plum intended to start a firestorm or just made an offhand comment that got blown out of proportion, her words triggered a chain reaction that exposed the complex dynamics of a league in transition. Colin Cowherd's response showed how mainstream media personalities are now paying serious attention to women's basketball storylines. Caitlin Clark's masterful social media counterpunch demonstrated why she's not just a great player but a savvy public figure who understands how to manage her brand and navigate controversy.